Hello. Pruning shrubs isn't a one-size-fits-all process, and it's understandable that people can get quite confused by it. But if we understand a little bit about how the plant grows, when it flowers, etc., then it helps us to do the right thing and get the best out of the plant. Shrubs that flower in the early part of the year flower on old wood, that is, wood that's produced the year before. Shrubs that flower later in the year generally flower on wood that has been produced earlier this year. So the general rule of thumb is to prune early flowering shrubs directly after they've flowered. That gives them all summer to put on a lot of new growth, and that should be the flowering wood for next year. If you were to prune these early flowering shrubs later in the year, autumn perhaps, then what you'd be doing is cutting off all of the wood that would produce next year's flowers, so you wouldn't have flowers next year. And the only tool that I'm going to need today are these secateurs, nice and sharp. I don't need anything bigger because the stems that I'm going to be cut off are not very thick stems, so these secateurs will do just fine. It's been a miserable weekend, but it's dried up enough just to let me get out and do some time-sensitive pruning. It's early April, and I'm going to prune this Forsythia, which is a spring flowering shrub. The advice that's always given with spring flowering shrubs is to prune them directly after flowering. And you can see there are flowers on it just now, so that's what I'm going to do. Because shrubs like Forsythia flower so early in the year, they haven't had time to make buds on new wood, and so they're flowering on old wood. And what I need to do is cut off the new stuff so it gives it all year to make some new branches to flower next year. Now you can probably see on here, I pruned it last year down to here. All of this is new growth, and most of it has no flowers on. Perhaps it's just that in Edinburgh it's a bit on the cold side. It doesn't have long enough to really mature over last summer. What I'm going to do, because I want it to be about this height, is reduce the size of these, so these will flower again next year, and probably these bits at the bottom will flower again next year too. I'm making sure that I'm cutting out any branches that cross over to leave it reasonably open in the middle, and I'm really just cutting it to the size that I want it. It's all about the right size for the place. So as you can see, I've reduced all of the taller stems, so they're kind of level with the top of the fence, which is fine. I don't want to let it get too big, and I'm very confident that it will flower in this area next year, and that's what I want. If you found this video of gardening tips helpful, click on the subscribe button and then you'll get notified whenever new ones come up. Thanks for watching.